We're going to call to order the Board of Commissioners public hearing for April 19th, 2018. This is on Ordinance 18-001, amending Title 11 of the Town of Kingston Springs Municipal Code to prohibit the throwing or depositing of litter or other materials upon any street, alley, sidewalk, or any other public, private place within the corporate limits of the Town of Kingston Springs, to define litter and to provide a penalty for the violation of this ordinance. Is anyone here to speak about that? Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, and we'll adjourn. Now we will call to order the regular business meeting of the Kingston Springs Board of Commissioners for April 19th. Can everyone please rise and face the flags? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. John, can you call the roll?
Corlund? Here. Gross?
Here.
Lorenz? Present. Remick?
Here.
Stoller? Here.
All right, and do we, everyone's seen the minutes have been circulated. Do we have a motion to approve the March 15th minutes?
So moved.
Oh, sorry, and the 18th minutes, sorry. The March, can we just go and do those together? March 18th and, wait. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, the agenda's been circulated. I think we have one addition. It's a surplus item, which we can add under surplus items, and that is there's been a request to, we have some chain link fence to surplus, correct, John? And Ashland City has requested the fencing.
Yes, sir. They said they could use it in their parks department if we were not going to, and we are not.
That is excellent. All right, so you can add that under that. And then we also have on item, on the motion to approve the Planning Commission, we need to change it from motion to just an acknowledgement of those two members, Tony Campbell and Donna Boggs, and Keith, actually, and Keith Allgood, all deciding to stay on for another term.
All good.
All right. Do we have a motion to approve as amended?
Motion to approve as amended.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, I'd like to start by acknowledging we have two of our former commissioners here tonight. We have Mr. Gordon Lampley and Ms. Pam Lorenz here, so thank you guys for coming out tonight, and it's good to see you here. And then we can move on to any announcements from the commission. Gary, do you got anything?
I don't have anything.
Bob?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Good.
April 1st, I put on social media that Kingston Springs was getting a Cracker Barrel, and the city was going to put in a swimming pool, and we were going to straighten out Snake Hill. And I apologize to anyone who took me seriously.
My only comments, it's going to be a big night, so I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but we want to, and we're going to acknowledge this a little bit later too after the thing, but wanted to acknowledge our city manager currently, and Debbie Finch, who served the community. She started 30 years ago yesterday, so I think that's quite a amount of accomplishment. Very proud of Ms. Finch and all the work she's done for the community.
And she knows it.
Oh, G5E 35.
Yes, 35 years.
I'm a little older than 30.
And this
Yeah, you're a little
last April.
Well, that was one of the comments on
Fire
Facebook
department.
with the fire department. Well, congratulations to both of you for that. Yeah, one of the comments that Debbie got on social media was that she couldn't have worked here 30 years because she was only 29. So.
I wish.
All right. Announcements from our community input and concerns. If you'd like to speak to the commission, just step up to the podium there that's kind of blocked by a very large sign, and state your name and address, and then you're free to address the commission. All these people, no one wants to say anything.
Come on, Sam.
Not even Sam, okay. All right, then we can go on to department reports. Those have all been, everybody's had a chance to read them. Do you all have anything to add to the department reports? We have a couple department heads here tonight.
I don't, is there anything on the agenda about the truck, or did you wait until May?
They'll come up during the budget.
Okay. Anything from this side of the staff? No.
No, sir.
Legal updates?
I do have a couple of legal updates. First of all, what's on the list here at your board, I'm gonna touch on something else real quickly first. If you recall, at our last meeting, I had mentioned that short-term rentals, Airbnb type facilities, had been a large part of discussion up on the Hill, Tennessee, Capitol Hill, this year in the legislative session. There was a bill introduced, I believe it was one of the representatives from Dyersburg, Dyer County, to basically restrict municipalities' ability to legislate or contain Airbnbs. As you all know, I'm sure you've heard in the news, Nashville, some of our larger cities have been having quite the issues with loud parties, noise violation, things like that in fairly residential neighborhoods, and they've been trying over the last several years to craft legislation to rein that in while still recognizing the rights of the property owners. And so the legislature has taken up a bill to restrict municipalities' ability to do that. So I had thought it had passed, but from the information that I just got from Debbie from the Municipal League, the Tennessee Municipal League, is apparently it is still in committee, but session is still open too. So that might be one thing you want to contact your representatives and express your opinion. Presumably, local municipalities, local governments know a little bit better about what goes on in their neighborhoods than the state legislatures do. The other item that was brought up to my attention, the Municipal League had passed an update. This one is also still in committee. It's been scheduled for consideration on Monday. It's House Bill 971, which, as I understand it, the County Mayors Association has requested that any sales tax coming from online sales go to the counties rather than the cities. And so you probably also want to contact your representative and make your voice heard about that.
So we've all kind of, I think, followed that to some degree, that piece of legislation, but it's been difficult to follow. It doesn't refresh on the, I mean, it says that it was pulled on the state website, but obviously it hasn't, and it made it out of committee, I take it?
Well, from what I'm reading here, if I could just read this real quick, it just says, of course, Budget Subcommittee and Finance Committee was preoccupied with budget-related legislation. HB 971 was not considered this week, however, it's still pending. House will return on Monday to complete its business for the year. With budget legislation now in conference, the Finance Committee is free to complete its remaining legislative calendars. They've got it up for consideration on Monday. And this was as of 3:55 this afternoon.
Okay.
So that's a little bit of an update on that. And then you all had requested a refresher on your beer board responsibilities. As you know, y'all also serve as the beer board for the city. It's basically can be called at any point, a special meeting can be called at any point upon designation by chair with notice to everybody. You're responsible for enforcement of any of the ordinances and state laws to some effect with respect to the sale and purchase of beer or beverages containing 5% or less of alcohol content. Generally, there you can either set a civil fine. Our current ordinances allow us to impose a fine up to $1,500. There are some parts of state law that would allow up to a $2,500 fine. So you may want to, as the Board of Commissioners, consider whether or not you want to keep it at $1,500 or raise it. In certain circumstances, you are not allowed to revoke or suspend a beer permit if they're a responsible vendor. And so there's several factors that you have to look at if it's a responsible vendor. If it was the permit holder who sold the sales or not, you could still suspend or revoke. But if it was a clerk and the clerk has attended all of the required training and things like that, you're not allowed to suspend. So there's lots of different variables. It's almost on a fact-specific basis that we would need to look at. But it is within your purview, just in general, to either impose if you don't have the preferred vendor status, responsible vendor status, it would be within your purview to either impose a civil fine or suspend a license. If you have a responsible vendor that has been dinged 2 or more times in a 12-month period of time, you can permanently revoke their status. That's just a very, to 10,000-foot overview. Are there any other more specific questions you'd like to get into?
That's very good.
Okay.
Right, unfinished business, we have second reading of ordinance 18-001, amending Title 11 of the Town of Kingston Springs Municipal Code to prohibit the throwing or depositing of litter or other materials upon any street, alley, sidewalk, or public or private place. Is there anything that you'd like to add? We've been through this last month, obviously. This is to address the distribution of materials through windows of vehicles. So do we have a motion to approve on second reading?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. All right, on to new business. Signs for the Kingston Springs, Mike Turpin.
Well,
You're up.
first and foremost, I love this city and I love this town, and it couldn't be better without the leadership of 65 combined years of Miss Finch and Chief Ivy. My family, 100%, we love it. We love you. Brandy, you've seen my children grow up through the soccer program. Glenn, you've driven my children on the bus. When you guys decided to move the farmer's market down here, I was walking across my lot at work and I saw this sign. It's filthy and dirty because it rode 38 miles across town. I will clean it up. But I saw this sign in my lot and it was deleted from a Metro Park sign, and I said, that's a Kingston Springs Farmers Market sign. My family's donating this. If there's any modifications that need to be made or anything, I can do that because I know it's big and I didn't come survey the site. But anyways, I want to give this to the Kingston Springs Farmers Market for my family in appreciation for everything this city and this community has done for us. So I don't know if it fits within the ordinance, but here it is. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Now I have to run because my daughter's playing in a Harpeth lacrosse game and it's the last home game. So I've got to go.
Well, thank you very much.
And we'll move that later.
And this is for you because I bought several of your pictures. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, item B is the master.
Excuse me,
So,
before you
yes.
move on that, we also need to discuss the signs for replacing the one at Gary Corlew,
Oh, correct, yes.
and Larry Craig's and Laura's, and I sent that a picture to you all, and got the price on it. It's be $720 for all three signs, and then we need to also include to have a dedication for the one for Lori. So I need you all to amend the budget for probably about $1,000.
That includes a cake?
Yeah. Invitations and what have you, so we figure we can get it all covered for about $1,000.
And that replaces all three signs.
That
right?
replaces all three signs.
So we'll have some continuity between the signs. I think it's a really good thing. 'Cause
Did you all like them?
I did.
Yes.
And Gary and Larry's signs are looking a little shabby, so that's going to be good.
But I just need to, there's no money appropriated to purchase those, so I need you all to approve.
Do we have a motion to amend the budget for $1,000 to update signage?
Motion.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes.
Thank you.
Yay. All right. And we're good on signs now, right?
Signs.
All right. The Master Gardeners Program discussion, Dr. Norquist is here to discuss.
I was going to throw Sue Proctor. She won't let me do it. So
Sue has been communicating with me as well.
No
Nice
bus,
to meet you.
no bus. No,
Proctor.
not under the bus.
yeah, I'm out. I'm new to the Master Gardeners, but very passionate about gardening and very passionate about Cheatham County. I grew up here. This is my home. I grew up between Pleasant View and Ashland City, and finished medical school. Went all the way across the world in the Army, and then medical school, and decided to come back home and treat my family and neighbors like family. So that's how I came back here. My wife is from Huntsville, and so they have a Master Gardeners, or actually a beautification program down there. And I was really inspired by that, the feel of their community, and I'd like to tell you guys a little bit about the program that I brought to the Master Gardeners this year. So we have a just a little photo montage here. This is not of anywhere in particular. I stole these off the internet. Just thought they were really pretty, and I think you guys would agree that any one of these would make your town look nice. And I was really impressed. I've not been past you guys' elementary school before, and I was really impressed with your town coming in, by the way. Very, very, very pretty down here. So anyway, just some pictures to sort of inspire us. Mr. Lawless, if you'll go ahead and pull up the other PowerPoint. Thank you guys while he's doing that for your time tonight. So I thought, this could be our community. It's not, it's Huntsville, but it could be our community. This is an entrance into a subdivision in Huntsville, Alabama. And if you notice on our left-hand side of the picture, there's a sign there, a marker. And it's made out of similar material to this. It's a anodized aluminum post. Thank you, sir. And it's also an anodized aluminum sign. And so it's going to be something that we can reuse for 30, 40, 50 years. Of course, we'll have to refurbish the paint, and I'm going to try to get Cheatham County High School to do that for us as part of their vocational education program. But it's a very elegant sign, and it's a sign that we can use over and over again for years and years and years. Beautification Award sign. The Beautification Award will be a joint program between the University of Tennessee Extension Service here in Cheatham County as well as the Master Gardeners. They're actually our sponsoring organization. And I want to go through tonight the purpose of the implementation of the program, a little bit of background, some general cost information on the program, and what I think the partnerships for the program can be in the scope of the program when it's fully implemented. So this is the Huntsville Botanical Garden. It's a beautiful city. If you've not been to Huntsville, I encourage you to take that trip. It's 2 hours from me in Pleasant View. I suspect it'd be about the same from Kingston Springs. Very, very pretty place, and I think you'd be inspired by it. So the reason for the program is beautification of our community. And this program would provide voluntary recognition to businesses and homeowners and municipal buildings as well who voluntarily beautify their property. There's minimal cost to the government and community because this is a voluntary program, and the individual businesses would apply for this recognition. The program's design and goal is to have increased beauty of our communities, and that will therefore drive better quality growth, higher property values, and more enjoyment of the community for everyone. The competition is voluntary, and I think that the competitive nature of it will make the program fun, and it will also grow the program in the future. And I thought formal parks cost us a lot of money, but what if the whole community were park-like? And I think we could accomplish the same thing. Have people walk down your street past beautiful businesses instead of having to go and drive to a park. So a little bit of background on the program. Again, my wife's family is from Huntsville, Alabama. Her dad was a retired military guy down there, and they have Redstone Arsenal. And being from Pleasant View, we would decide, are we going to go to Nashville to shop, or are we going to go to Clarksville to shop? And I always found myself driving south instead of going to Clarksville. For some reason, Clarksville felt cold and dirty and run down to me, and it just didn't feel like a nice place. And there was nothing that you could put your finger on. It just didn't have an appeal to me. And so we would drive and spend my money in Nashville. And Huntsville and Clarksville are very similar communities. They're both centered around an Army base. They both are spread out. They're both very similar in population, and they have completely different feels. And I think this beautification program is part of the reason for that. So I was impressed with the cleanliness and the beauty of that small city. And I noticed these beautification awards spread out throughout their community and thought, boy, that's neat, but I didn't know anything about it. So I started doing some research. I talked to the head of their organization, a lady named Jan. She's been their president now for 13 years. And this program was implemented in Huntsville in 1974. From 1974 until 2017, their program has grown, and last year, Huntsville awarded 365 beautification awards. And there are hundreds of landscapes down in Huntsville that didn't get a beautification award that are pretty enough that they could have won a beautification award. So they have 365 that won and hundreds more that are almost as pretty that didn't win. So they've really impacted their entire community with this award. And I wondered how I could bring it to my community, and the Master Gardeners seemed like the fit for that. Another beautification award. This one actually says honor roll at the bottom. If a business wins the award 5 years in a row, they get designated as an honor roll winner, which just basically means that they've done a good job for a long time. And I just thought, wow. So a little bit of the cost analysis. In Huntsville, the businesses that are going to apply for an award actually pay an application fee. It's only $25. We're a lot smaller than they are. I think we'd have to have a little bit more money than that to fund the cost of the signs, which is really the only cost of the program. And once we buy a sign, we can use it for 20, 30, 40, or 50 years. The judging and the awards are done on the first week of June. The ongoing cost of the plaques will be paid for through the application process. So basically, they grow their program every year by the application fees from the year before. And Huntsville had a one-time award of seed money from their city council, and that's what we're going to need to get started as well, and why I'm here today. And I thought to myself, Huntsville has hundreds and hundreds of businesses that look just like this. Why don't we have these? One thing I want to point out to you guys is this one's a mayor's award, and I don't know exactly how their mayor's award works, but the way I want our mayor's award to work is that in recognition of the communities who support our program with the one-time seed money, the mayor of each community each year will get to choose from amongst a winner and designate and say, I want that business to get the mayor's award this year. So the mayor will get to choose which winner gets his award or her award. And this is a viable program. That's supposed to say 43, but Huntsville started this in 1974, and they awarded 365 awards last year. The Master Gardeners have approved this project, and they'll implement and manage the program. I want to have a county-wide scope. I don't love Pleasant View, I love Cheatham County, and I want to improve all of Cheatham County. The award will be open to businesses and homeowners, and I would like to also include the municipal buildings as well. And the program would be, we're in a planning year for 2018 and first awards if we're successful, and the implementation will be in 2019. And our idea is to augment the program that Huntsville has. Here's some links to their program if you guys have any questions about the way theirs works. Lots of pretty pictures on those websites, so if you guys have any questions about that. And finally, again, a beautification award. We've actually got our beautification award designed. We may still change it a bit, but we do have that design process going, and we have a sample, and I forgot to include it in the PowerPoint, so sorry about that. So I don't know how Kingston Springs budgetary process works, but what we're asking for you guys to do would be a one-time grant of $2,500. We're asking that from each of the cities, and we're going to ask for $5,000 from the county. We had a meeting February 17th, and we had 2 city mayors there and the county mayor there, and there is a lot of support for this program across the county, and I think that we're going to be successful in the other communities. Sorry, that was a lot. Are there any questions?
Any questions from any of the board members?
Just a little bit. The signs will be about $800 a piece. So with each city's money, we can buy hopefully 3 signs. And again, with the quality of the sign, it'll last for years and years and years. Your mayor's award would be 50 years from now still being awarded off your one-time donation today or this year. And then, so we'll probably start off with 15 awards, give or take. Those will be spread through the county, and they'll be, every year we'll be able to buy more signs and then have more awards.
Doctor, I was in Huntsville in the fall. And
Yes, sir.
went to the botanical gardens,
Yes, sir. What'd you think?
and they were just incredible.
It's even better right now.
They were all decked out for Halloween and had
Right?
scarecrows and all sorts of things. But is
Awesome.
that part of the Master Gardeners program?
The Master Gardeners will volunteer time in Huntsville. It is separate from their Master Gardeners program. Yeah. If you get a chance to go to the Huntsville Botanical Garden, right now, really through May, the end of May, it's just absolutely gorgeous. Huntsville gets too hot after about then, and the flowers start to die back. But from now till the end of May is really worth going. Their Japanese garden is breathtaking.
Do you think you have a viable organization to maintain a program like this for an extended period of time? I mean, people.
I think we do. I think we could also, if this program could get huge, I hope it does, this program could be absorbed by the county or by the cities, city parks kind of a thing. But I think we have a viable program, and we have overwhelming support with Master Gardeners. So,
How many volunteers do you have at this point?
well, we have 4 people on the committee right now, but right now we're into fundraising, we're into award design, award procurement. So we're looking at sources for the signs, and so there's 4 of us, and but we're making leaps and bounds progress. We already have a design for the award, and there's 30 very active members of the Master Gardeners. So we certainly have enough members right now to implement the size of program that we'll have for 2019. And then my goal is our award will say Master Gardeners Beautification Award. And so we'll have countywide recognition of the Master Gardeners, and I think that will really push the growth of Master Gardeners as well.
Would it not have Cheatham County Master Gardeners?
It has the Cheatham County logo down at the bottom in the middle, and then it has the UTTSU extension logo on the bottom right, and then it has the Master Gardeners logo on the left. And it could say Kingston Springs Mayor's Award on the plaque that goes underneath, for that matter. We're also looking at corporate sponsorships where, a nursery company could, Billy Joe's Flower Company could, sponsor an award, and then they would forever have that from the bottom of the sign that they purchased. So.
Anything else from commissioners? Well, thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for your time. Thank you, Mr. Wallace. You're very helpful, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Item C is discussion of updating the current sewer policy regarding reimbursements for leaks on residential property compared to commercial property.
This resulted, there was a water leak in a commercial property, and the water department and the city hall were looking at adjustments, the water company for the water and city hall for the sewer, and we came across this sewer adjustment policy that differentiates between residential and commercial. The policy's been in place for quite some time, since 1996. We were a little unsure as the reasoning by why it was initially differentiated between residential and commercial. So we just thought we would bring it to everyone's attention to see if somewhere down the road we might want to make residential and commercial the same, or is it okay the way it is? We just thought it would be worthy of a discussion.
Are you trying to bring something up for us? Oh, no.
No, I'm sorry, I was just going back to that.
Back to the main screen.
Make it all the same, correct? And just make it all unified, easy, simple?
We were thinking the water company uses what we have as a residential policy. That's what they use across the board for any kind of water leaks for them. They take an average of, the last 4 months and use that as the bill for that month with a water leak. With us, in most cases with a water leak, the sewer is not impacted at all because it's not water that actually goes through the sewer system. So when you're talking about a leak and an adjustment in a commercial that can go up to 25%, if it's a leak that's undetected for a while, it could be a pretty good dollar figure. So we were leaning towards going residential, but making that the current residential policy effective for both commercial and residential for sewer adjustment.
Seems reasonable to me.
Seems reasonable to me.
Okay. Good, thank you. Then we'll update and then present it to the board next month.
Okay, good. All right, item D is motion to approve increasing the Kingston Springs Farmers and Artisans Market budget line item by $3,500 for purchasing of advertising, promotional material, and other marketing enhancements. These funds are available in the general fund market account.
These are funds that the farmer's market has already generated and put into that account, correct?
Right, but that money is in a money market and hasn't been appropriated in the budget.
To the
So
line item
if you're
4 of
gonna
the
spend it, you're gonna have to
Right,
amend
so we're gonna be
to bring
moving it
in.
back into, so I just want to
Yes.
point out that this is money that the farmer's market has already generated.
Yes.
through dinner on Main, correct, so?
Yes.
And since the market is getting ready to gear up, we could use some of these funds to
Yes.
purchase signage, advertising, that kind of stuff.
Motion to approve?
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Go farmer's market.
All right, we've almost got, just for everyone out there, we've pretty much used the entire alphabet tonight, so it might be a long. Item E, retirement actuarial validation report.
You know, Tony, this is what you all get every 2 years, and you really don't have a choice. I mean, you have to do it. But the decision that's in front of you is, you know, they've recommended, get it back here in front of me. Page. Yeah, I've got it right here, I'm just trying, that, you know, their recommendation is that you all do 6.73%, but they're asking that you all do more. So, you know, you all can do what the study has thrown out, which is the 6.73%, or you can choose to do a higher percentage. And what this is what all the employees have to contribute 5% of their salary towards that. And this is the part that the city contributes to the employee's retirement. So, and that's based on the 5 highest years of salary.
Do we have any discussion from the board as to what we'd like to do on this?
Who made the recommendation?
It is from the state,
State.
the ones that run that study.
Oh, the Treasury Department?
Yes.
Consolidated
Okay.
retirement system.
Okay.
And they just encourage you to consider to pay a higher rate to protect against upward pressure on employer rates in the future, is what they're saying.
What does that mean? I don't understand what that means, upward pressure.
Well, I guess maybe what it would mean that if you stayed at the 6.73% and then in 2 years when they did the study again and everybody's incomes are higher, then you might be subject to a much higher rate because you stayed at the lower rate this time. Does that make sense?
Well, what's the pleasure of the board in this situation? 7% perhaps?
7% is fine.
That's what I was thinking.
Agree. Gary, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think we ought to do something, you know.
Yeah.
7, now that's not very good. 700 percent, I think much.
Well, we could do a full percent more.
That would work for me.
One of the thoughts of from the rest of the board, I could. We're at.
I'm not sure that.
So I mean, yeah, I mean Gary makes a fair point. That's 0.18% if we went with 7, whereas if we did, you know, we could do maybe a little better than that, or we could do maybe 7.5 or something.
What are we at now?
We're at 6.73 would be.
Right now, we're at
0.28.
6.29%.
6.29.
We're at 6.29.
Oh,
So
recommended
7
for
is-
the recommendation is 6.73.
So
Go
7.29. Okay,
Right now,
Go
we're at
1% from that.
from where we are now. That's a good.
But
point.
they're recommending now, in order to fund the retirement as it is right now, that you have to do 6.73%.
Right.
But if we did 7.29, then we'd be doing a full percent over
Or
instead of
What you're
this year.
currently
what
doing.
we're currently doing, so.
That's
7.29?
7.29.
I'm good with that.
All right, well then, do we have a motion to raise it from 6.29 to 7.29?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion passes. All right, item F, motion to waive Kingston Springs Farmers and Artisans Market 2018 season vendor fee for the Harpeth High School Future Farmers of America booth.
How much is that fee?
$100.
$100.
For the full 20-week season. I've spoken with Ben Howell a few times. He's the ag leader at Harpeth High School. He would like for his students to participate in the farmer's market this year as a learning experience. They probably won't do every market, but they'll try to do as many as possible with a rotating group of students selling whatever they have, some eggs and some tomatoes, vegetables, that kind of stuff. So
Are they things that are producing at the school?
Yes.
Or because the first year of the farmers market, I somehow got the Creekwood, right? That's in White Bluff, the high school out there. I got their FFA to come, and they did just the first two markets, and they did plant sales, which went really well too. I don't know if that's something they'd be able to do as well.
they're having a plant sale, if not now, within the next week or two. So if they
Okay.
have any left over, then
Left
yes,
over,
that'd
they
be
could-
great for the first of the market. But anything that they sell, they'll be producing there at the high school.
Motion to waive.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Item G is motion to review and award bids for town 2-year contracts.
We had two contracts that were up for rebid, 2-year contracts. The numbers from the previous contract and then the current bids are in your packet. The two bids were one for paving repair. The current contractor is Jarrett. They bid again, they were the sole bidder for that particular contract. Their numbers did not increase much as far as their square footage for pavement. What increased a good bit was their minimum charge went from $950 to $3,000. However, whenever we use Jarrett Paving, we primarily use them for repairing street cuts. So when the water department has to cut the street, fix a line, then we like to repair the roads to our specifications. So we use Jarrett Paving, come in, repair the roads, and then we bill the water department whatever it costs us to do that. Whenever we were doing that currently, we would wait until we had 2 or 3 roads or street cuts that needed to be repaired, rather than, it's quite expensive for the asphalt company to come out here and do a 3-foot wide, 20-foot wide long stretch. So we would wait till we had 2 or 3 of those anyway. So while it looks like a big jump, we were pretty much doing almost $3,000 worth of work at any fell swoop currently.
As far as patching potholes, for example, that's, the city does that themselves?
Yes, we do that
So you're not
ourselves.
involved
Right.
with the company.
So, okay, but these are, okay, so what you were doing before those, having them come out, and you weren't billing the water department until you'd done multiple street cuts, right?
Right.
Or repaired multiple street cuts.
Right.
And what's the cost of repairing a single street cut, generally?
It varies. It's going to go, the cost of their equipment plus the cost of paving, I would estimate it's probably going to be $1,000 a piece, maybe even $1,200
Okay.
per street cut.
But in this case, with a minimum charge of $3,000, if they come out and fix one street cut, it's $3,000.
Yes. So that's why we, and we have in the past, we'll continue to wait until we have 2 or 3 cuts that need to be fixed, and then we'll do them all at one time. Their concern in speaking with them was they want to make sure that they have a day's worth of work when they come out here, bring all their stuff out here and work.
Understand.
One of their biggest expenses is probably just transporting everything out here.
Right, and they wanted to keep that too. They just wanted to maximize their time while they're out here.
Okay.
So we would not call them for one street because it would cost us $1,000. It would be rolled to the water company for $1,000 or $3,000. So we would wait until we had several street cuts to make sure it was worthwhile and we were getting our money's worth out of it.
All right, do we have a motion to approve Jarrett paving?
Motion to approve Jarrett Paving for a 2-year contract.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unopposed, motion passes. All right, general construction, Bowers Construction.
Bowers is who we currently have. Bowers was the only one to submit a bid for this particular contract this time as well. As you can see, his fees are very similar to what he has been charging us for the last 2 years. So he does really good work, and the town recommends that we accept this bid.
All right, do we have a motion to approve the 2-year contract for Bowers Construction?
Motion to approve 2-year contract for Bowers
Second.
Construction.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Motion to reappoint Mike Hargis and Steve Cooper to the Kingston Springs Board of Zoning Appeals for a new term from November 2017 to November 2020. Why is
Which does not require a motion, right?
No, this one does require a motion.
Does it?
The zoning appeals board and most of the boards require, and Parks Board, for instance, require a vote of the council. The planning commission does not. So,
And this goes back to November 2017. We're just cleaning up.
cleaning
some.
up the books, yeah. Okay, we'll do have a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item I is actually just an acknowledgement that Keith Oliga, Donna Boggs, and Tony Campbell have all agreed to serve yet another term on the Planning Commission. Actually, Tony at the meeting 2 meetings ago was reappointed to be the vice chair of the Planning Commission. Item J is motion for approval to advertise paving bids for West Kingston Springs Road and potential additional paving projects.
Also in your packet, there was some information as we're looking, since West Kingston Springs Road is the paving project that we selected. It will go from around the front of Lawrence Foods down West Kingston Springs Road here to the stop sign at the south end of the intersection of North Main Street. With the submission, with the approval, once we start put out for bids, then there's a possibility, because of the work that all the contractors have around the Middle Tennessee area, that work might not begin until after July 1st into the next fiscal year, which would then have funds available from the 2018-2019 fiscal year to do an additional project, or the project that would be done in that year. With the paving company out here, there is a chance that we would get a better rate on both of those projects. Again, similar to what we were just discussing, they're gonna have all their stuff out here anyway. They might give us, and probably give us a better deal on a second paving project to do it all at the same time. And there are a couple of suggestions for paving projects. We were looking at City Park. City Park is something that we've started to place a little more money in, a little more attention to. That lot at City Park, I don't know when the last time it was paved. I know it was patched in 2010 when CSX used it for
30 years?
Yeah,
I don't think it's ever been paved.
since it was initially paved.
That's the original pavement.
Yeah.
And it shows. Driving around, there are a couple of the roads I mentioned in the packet, Harpeth Trail and Sims Heights. Those are fairly large projects, so with the paving of West Kingston Springs Road, adding a large additional project like that is going to set us back a few dollars. Jeff Stevens is here. He'll be able to answer any kind of questions, or if the board's okay if Jeff comes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you have anything that you wanted to add as far as maybe an estimated cost? We did choose to pave City Park parking lot. Do you have an idea of ballparking?
Well, the town's gotten some quotes in the past, and I think each time they've got some quotes, it just wasn't right for trying to do within the budget at the time. It'd probably be about 20 or 25 grand to pave City Park, based on what we're seeing in current bidding pricing with the different paving contractors. Depending on, I guess, how the numbers come in for West Kingston Springs Road, that might be a very good add-on to that project. Rule of thumb used to be for every mile of resurfacing, it would be about $100,000. Just kind of a rough ballpark. With the increase in material pricing and the amount of work, and contractors able to increase their pricing because of the demand on their time, it's probably more like $120,000 a mile now. If you're trying to get a ballpark for Sims Height and Harpeth View Trail on additional paving. If we move forward and just bid West Kingston Springs Road, we can kind of see where it goes from there. The other option would be we could set up West Kingston Road in your advertising as the primary, and you could add the others as an alternate, and if it doesn't fit the budget, you just pull it back. But it's something to think about.
Okay.
But,
Okay. I do realize that Sims Heights, for example, needs drainage and additional.
and we would have to evaluate that. We haven't even, we've kind of talked about it. We hadn't evaluated Sim Heights. We've just evaluated West Kingston Springs Road, and then lately City Park.
And both Sims Heights and Harpeth View Trail are like 1.6, almost 1.7 miles, so that would be two really large paving projects back to back.
In Harpeth Hills
Just to give
Drive.
you some ideas so that you know, in this budget year, you have $280,000. Well, I think West Kingston Springs Road is coming in,
About right there.
is it about there? See, I was
Yeah.
thinking it was about $60,000 more.
Well, anywhere the range, I try to give it a range, but it was the hard numbers were about 280, but then a little bit of the unknowns, the contingencies, it bumped it up to about 320.
Okay.
So I mean, you're kind of there, but you feel like you're probably going to fall a little short with your current numbers, but you don't ever really know. You might get a motivated bidder, and you might actually get a pretty good price, but we haven't been seeing that lately.
So just, and then in the budget process, we're trying to see if we can make the numbers come up and add an additional $200,000 for the 18-19 budget year. So with this rolling into next year's budget, you all will be looking at about $480,000 to have for a paving project.
When you say 100,000 per mile, is that?
Yeah, that would probably be.
What's the width on
120.
that? I mean,
Oh, that's a typical two-lane
two-lane
road.
road, okay.
Mhm. And like half of the West Kingston Springs project, it goes from 2 lanes to 3 lanes, so that also increases the price on our estimate.
So if we do the add alternate option here, that would give us some numbers to look at for some of these other projects, correct?
Right.
So that would probably be I think would be the best way to proceed, right? That would give us some options to see what else we might be able to accomplish or not accomplish. And as it is right now, we're just kind of guessing, so.
And part of that quote is marking lines.
Yeah,
Striping.
yes, we have all striping in that, that's correct.
And have we discussed doing something different at the bottom of Marylog and how that changes from 2 lanes to 3 lanes?
We've discussed putting turtles, which are
Turtles,
those
yeah.
little reflective bumps that go in the road around the entrance and exit on both of those ends of that curve around Marylog, just to make sure that it's a little more noticeable that there is a lane there and you should stay in it.
All right, well then, do we have any more questions for Mr. Stevens? Then do we have a motion to advertise, possibly including these add alternate options for the different projects that we've discussed tonight for the park and the Harpeth View Trail and Sims Heights?
Motion to advertise.
including those projects.
including those projects.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, hearing none, motion passes. All right.
Thank you.
On to the fun part now. So what everyone's been waiting for. Motion to appoint John Lawless as Kingston Springs City Manager. We've been had John as our Assistant City Manager for over 2 years now, right, John? Where are we? Are we
Now,
at?
year and a half.
A year and a half. A year and a half. Okay, that's right.
Time flies.
It does. It does. So, but John's been doing, I believe, an excellent job. Well, you've had two retreats under your belt now,
Yes,
I think,
sir.
so far, and in the meantime, of course, Debbie has been filling in and doing an excellent job as our interim city manager. I was actually thinking about this the other day. In the time I've been mayor, I've had 4 city managers. That has to be a Kingston Springs record. I know that is for a fact. It's a Kingston Springs record. Probably not a good one. But like I said, John's done an excellent job, and I'm excited about this tonight. I'm excited that his family's here to see this happen. And also, do we have a motion to appoint Mr. Lawless as our new city manager?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? Anybody want to have second thoughts? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Okay, item L. I told you we almost got the whole alphabet in here. It's to set the salary amount for the Kingston Springs city manager. And we discussed this at retreat. And I think that we had some pretty decent ideas as to what we wanted to do. So do we have a motion? Does anyone like to propose a number?
Glenn, go ahead.
Did we agree?
I believe so.
Yep.
Yes. Motion to approve, or motion to present at 55,000?
All right.
Do we have
Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, any discussion? All in favor?
Roll call, it's your expenditure funds.
Oh, it's a roll call vote, so you can call the roll.
Is it appropriate if I call the roll?
I believe it's, I don't think there's a conflict to calling the roll.
Not yet.
It depends on how you look at us, right?
Gary Corley,
Yes.
Tony Gross,
Yes.
Jeff Lorenz,
Yes.
Glenn Remick,
Yes, pay it, man.
Bob Stoller.
Yes.
All right, motion passes. All right, and then our final our item in this process would be to administer the oath of office to our new city manager. I believe is our attorney doing the oath.
Yeah, yes.
Photo walk?
Come stand in front of everybody.
All right, will you raise your right hand, please? Repeat after me. I, John Lawless,
I, John Lawless,
solemnly swear or affirm
solemnly swear or affirm
I will support the Constitution of the United States
I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Tennessee,
and the Constitution of the State of Tennessee,
and will obey the laws
and will obey the laws
of the United States and the State of Tennessee,
of the United States and the State of Tennessee,
that I will in all respects
that I will in all respects
observe the provisions of the Charter
observe the provisions of the Charter
and ordinances
and ordinances
of the Town of Kingston
of
Springs,
the Town of Kingston Springs,
and that I will faithfully
and that I will faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the city manager,
of the city manager,
the office I'm about to assume,
the office I'm about to assume,
without fear
without fear
or favor,
or favor,
and to the best of my skill
and to the best of my skill
and ability.
and ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, and the celebrations, you know, we have a few items under other, so we can start back over. Oh, we have also, first we have our surplus item. I forgot that we added our surplus item, which is to surplus this chain link fence and give it to the city of Ashland City.
Town of Ashland City.
Town of Ashland City. Oh, yeah, the Town of Ashland City. They get all the municipality names in there. All right. Do we have a motion to surplus the chain link fence?
Motion to surplus chain link fence to town of Ashland City.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. All right, on to other. A is the new Kingston Springs town limit signs, including the new town slogan.
We just want to bring this to your attention because it will be part of the face of the town to make sure that everyone saw it and approved of it. One thing to note that at the bottom, instead of city limits, since it's the town of Kingston Springs, we put town limits on there. So I just want to make sure everybody was okay with that kind of consistency. If everyone's okay, we'll order the signs. They're about $60 a piece. There are 8 of them that go around town. Money is already in the budget appropriated in a line item for that. Once the signs come in, we'll get Mr. Colin Sedgwick, who was the winner of our slogan contest. We'll have him and the signs and the commissioners, and we'll have some photo opportunities with him.
Who?
Colin Sedgwick. Came up with the heart of heart.
Good.
Item B is distribution of the auditor's report.
I'm reading for y'all.
Good stuff. They always are.
And once again, we had no write-up, so always proud of that.
Once again, speaks to Debbie's skill leading the city's finances.
Good luck, John.
Item C is just an acknowledgement of Chief Ivy's service. As the hat say, he's of course been serving since 1959, right? Hello. For 35 years, he celebrated that anniversary on the 7th, and of course that was your time beginning with the volunteer fire department. And what year were you hired at the city?
93.
93 at the city. So well, congratulations, and we'll, I guess we're gonna have some cake too at the end. So I need to talk fast and we can move on to the cake. So I'll just go ahead and throw in. I already said what I already spoke about Debbie's service too, which is the other reason why we're having cake here in a little bit. So, congratulations, or thank you both for your service. We'll keep on moving. Reminder: citywide yard sale May 19th. First Kingston Springs Farmers Market is also May 19th, so you can go drive around and get all kinds of good stuff, and then load your car up with some fruits and vegetables, so you can eat healthy while you're trying to figure out what to do with all that stuff you just bought. And the fishing rodeo is June 9th. That's a lot of fun, and is Sam still young enough to participate in the fishing rodeo?
Yeah, I think he's 11.
What's the age cutoff?
What?
Yeah,
Well-
he's got it last year.
Oh, this is your last year, Sam. You better catch the big ones this year.
I'm paying attention to what's happening.
That's my boy.
All right, cake time. Do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion to adjourn the meeting and eat cake.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.